Okay, here we go. Let's go tackle this flower. So I would usually just start with the center, but I do want to just demonstrate the chain stitch here. In case you're new to it, I thought it'd be a little easier to demonstrate over here on the petal. So I'm using a full ply of our dark purple. And here I'm making a loop. If you want to hold it, you can. And I'm going to go back in the same hole. I'm going to hold this loop off to the side here so I don't accidentally pull it through. Like this. Okay, there's, you see my loop. I'm actually going to get it out of the way for a second. And I want to come up a stitch length away on my line. So we'll go here. Okay. Then I'm going to put this loop back. I'm doing this like kind of awkwardly. And I'm going to pull. And as I pull, I pulled my tail. As I pull, it's going to tighten that loop to look like a little chain. Okay? I'm trying to figure out what I just did to the back of my hoop here. I think we're okay. Oh gosh, now I'm tangled on my screw on the top. So many hazards. Okay, that is one little chain stitch. Okay, let's do it again. So I'm gonna go just what we just did. Just you can pretend like this thing isn't here. We're gonna go back in the same hole. A little harder to find now because there's a loop around it. I'm using my other thumb to kind of hold out this little loop. My next loop, and I go up a stitch length away, catch that loop, and then pull. Lovely. If you pull too tight, they won't be all puffy. They'll get like kind of not happy. Tightening a little bit. You know, you kind of, you want them all to be the same tension so they look even. So I guess that's a good point, is that to have them look standard, you want your stitch length to be the same size and you want your tension to be the same for every chain. Like that. So I do this like in a stabbing way. Some people are magicians and they can do the sewing method. So what they do, they go down and then, I'm so bad at it. You see, you gotta come up on the line and I just, so like that. See how I'm coming up? And then doing it in like one smooth motion, which is not happening for this lady. Like that. Okay? And see how that one's like smaller than these ones? Because I can't, I could if I practiced more. But for me, I'm better at, making it two different motions. So I'm going down. And then, oh, this looks like a big old mess now, huh? Down. And I have more accuracy this way, so I'll come back up right here. So I'm going to come back just the tiniest little bit away from the end of my line here. And I will show you why. I'm trying to untwist my loop. That was even more awkward than usual. Just like that. Can you get off my computer? Bye. Sorry. Bad kitty is here. Okay, so then to finish, I'm just going to go down right there. Tuck. Ta-da! Okay, so that's chain stitch. So let me do it in the round here. Let's see, that's the dark purple. Okay. So I'm going to go the other direction just because I can. Can I help you, sir? No, just looking for something to knock off the counter. I get it. Okay, so back in the same hole. So like I have a knot back there, so it's a little tricky. So again, I guess that's another advertisement for not doing a knot. Just trying to work around it. Okay. So if you're worried about like your stitch length being consistent, you could come in here with like a little pen and mark off where you want your stitches to be. I think with practice, you can eyeball it. Fabric's feeling a little loose right there. I'm gonna pause to pull it up a bit. I don't know if that helped. So if you check out my lettering tutorial, I think that's the one. I do chain stitch and I also do reverse chain stitch. Reverse chain stitch for me is a little less awkward, and I will show you how to do that. I just wanted to definitely do the forward direction first. Especially for this circle, you have to do the forward version for this if you want to make sure you're making a complete interconnected circle. So again, I'm just concentrating on making those stitches about the same size, about the same tension. So here, my last one is actually gonna come under here. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3 stitches to get there. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's okay if, like over here, how I had that one that was kind of smaller. Like, I guess if you get up close to it, it's like when someone says, oh, your work's so pretty, and then you're like, yeah, but look at this stitch. I made this one too small. It's like no one's gonna see it but you. So just don't point it out. Don't draw attention to it. What you focus on gets bigger, right? Okay, so pay attention here. So to make it a complete circle, I'm going to take my needle. I'm not going under the fabric. I'm just going under the stitch. See that? I'm using my finger behind to kind of lift this area up so that I don't pierce any other stitches. And then that's it. I'm just going to come back down here. Pretty cool, huh? It's like a fancy circle. Okay. So I think I'll show you reverse chain stitch up here on this guy. So you can either start with a regular chain stitch or start with a tacking stitch. I'm going to show you starting with a tacking stitch. So I want my stitches to look like in the same direction as this. Oh, hey, princess. The princess is here, everyone. She's graced us with her presence. Hi, darling. I don't want you on my lap right now, but thank you. They get to go to the vet this week for a checkup. She was like a little bit overweight, so we kind of put her on a diet. Okay, so here's my tacking stitch. I came up a stitch length away. Now what I'm going to do is kind of what I did over here to finish the loop. I'm going to just go under this little stitch. I'm not piercing the fabric. I'm just sliding under it. So you don't want it too tight, right? Or you're going to be having a hard time. Okay. So again, I'm using my other finger to pop this up so it's a little easier for me to grab. And then I'll go back down in this hole. Ta-da! Okay, I'm trying to manage my threads that I can't see. Here we go. I think I have like 3 different needles connected to my hoop right now. It's probably a mess back there. I don't even want to know. Okay, so I went up a stitch length away, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going under those stitches. Pull and back down, same hole, and again. I'm being like delicate here, like I'm pulling but not too tight because of the way that this stitch is formed. You know, it's all connected, so if I pull too tight here, it's gonna pull here and here. It kind of creates like a chain reaction of bad. So maybe I should do that as a demonstration. I really don't want to, though, because it means I'll have to unpick it all. Feel free to convince yourself. So if this is super confusing, you're like, what? Forward chain stitch, back chain stitch. I don't know what to do. Just do the forward. It's totally fine. Or just do the back. I don't care. Do what works for you. Next, I'm going to do the alternating one, which I haven't actually even tried with the back chain stitch. So we're going to do it the forward version. If that's just like blowing your mind, don't bother. And these are all just options. See, my stitch length is getting bigger as I go. I'm not sure why. Probably because I'm babbling and not paying attention to what I'm doing. And here's the last one. So how cool, right? It's like I did it in a different way, but it looks the same as this. It is the same. It's just going from a different direction. And for me, this is less awkward than that loop. And yeah, but either way. Okay, let's go ahead and try this alternating chain stitch. I definitely forgot what it was called there for a second. Okay, so I have 2 needles here. One of them with this pink and one with the light purple. So have those ready. So this can get a little like pat your head, rub your tummy kind of thing. But it looks really cool. So let's try it. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a chain stitch again. So I'm gonna start like I would start. Come up at the beginning of my line. Pull. Go back down in the same hole. Oops, sorry. Okay. So here is where things get different. So I have my loop. You can see this floss used to be on a bobbin, so it has funny creases. So I'm taking this needle with the pink, I'm gonna park it because I actually don't want to use it right now. Got my light purple ready to go, and then I'm gonna come up with that needle, my light purple needle, a stitch length away here. Okay. And I'm gonna pull. Now obviously when I pull this, it's not gonna tighten my loop, right? Because it's different floss. So then I need to come back with this pink needle and pull. But at the same time, I need to hold this purple out so that it catches where I want it to catch, right? Because if I let go of this, and I pull on the pink, it's gonna actually pull the purple to the pink hole. So yeah, it hurts my brain a little bit. All right, let's keep going. All right, so now I've got purple. I'm gonna go back in the same hole. And I'm parking it. Then I have my pink. Come up a stitch length away. Then pull the purple while holding the pink out. There we go. And do it again. So I definitely, when I was doing this before, I definitely would get confused and start pulling the wrong one to tighten. Or just kind of forget that I was doing alternate chain stitch and just all of a sudden I was doing just one color. So it takes a little getting used to, but it looks super cool, I think, that back and forth with the colors. So just be somewhere you can pay attention to what you're doing, concentrate. I'm wondering if this would be easier with the reverse. Maybe I should try it. I'll try it. I've actually never done it before, so this is probably a horrible idea to try it on camera, but we'll see. Oops. Make sure I'm pulling the right thread back here. So see how right here, one of my 6 strands is not really participating. It's sticking off funny. So when I have something like that, I try to pull back out if I can. Oops, sorry. Oops, oh no. It's all bad. Look what I did. I'm gonna have to see if I can fix that. Oh. Everything's falling apart. See guys, this is what embroidery really looks like. I will not be editing this out. You need to see. Wait, what has happened? Okay, no, we're good. We're good. Wow. Way to like take a small problem and make it worse, huh? I don't know why this is just a problem here. Why are you not coming? Come on, my friend. There we go. Okay. So here's, it looks like when I went back in the same hole, I actually went through my strand. I kind of like did a bit of a split strand. Okay, you stay over here. You are a separate problem. So I'm trying to, what I was trying to do was kind of help those fibers lay more flat. I don't think I accomplished that at all. Actually, that does look better. Sure, I'm not sure it was worth this disaster, but let's move on, shall we? Okay. So yeah, I guess, yeah, it's up to you if you want to try to fix those things and create more drama or just let them go. See if I can trim that. I don't know if that's what I want to do. I know I should just ignore it and keep moving. I fix it later. Okay, so I'm gonna do, rather than make it worse with witnesses, I just don't want it to get caught. So maybe that's a good discussion topic though. Like, what do you do? What do you do with that? If you cut it, are you making more of a problem? Possibly. I think the best course of action would be to try to find the stitches on the back and just tighten them. So that's going to be what I'll try first. If that doesn't work, I could risk it and just cut the offending parts off and just hope it doesn't unravel anything important. Or perhaps cut and then go over with a couple more stitches. Where's my needle? There we go. Oh, this takes forever. Why did we pick this hobby? And this is just one of 4 petals. Could probably fit 3 here, but I'm just gonna do 2 so we can be done. So to finish, I'm just gonna use a tacking stitch in the same color. I'm not gonna worry about changing it here. just like that. Okay, so how about for here, I'll try and we'll see what happens with the reverse version of that, okay? So just rewind myself. So here's a tack and stitch. I don't know if that's what it's really called. This actually seems to be easier. And to think, I thought that it would be harder and I wasn't going to try it. I'm kind of terrified about what's going on the back of my hoop. Oops! Oh, that was a bad one. Sorry, guys. Oh. Not a professional. And I have some kind of knot. Here we go. I actually did get a new phone, which helps with these videos. Yes, I'm using my phone to make videos. And I can get a lot closer, which is great. But I'm also super close to the fabric, so it can be a little hard to manage myself and keep myself from bonking into it. This looks like so much neater than this. In general, my reverse chain stitch is neater. Probably because of how I do the forward version. It's a little clunky. Prefer this way. Definitely. So for that's the center line for these petals, I did split stitch, kind of the same way, just using the two different needles with two different colors, alternating. I have so many holes in my fabric from all the parking I've been doing. It's kind of funny. It'll take me a little time to get those out. Oops. Ugh, sorry guys. Someone asked me a question. Oh, I know what it was. So someone was asking about, you know, hooping up and do we really need to take our fabric out of the hoop every night? And you definitely don't. I have not been taking my fabric out. The only reason you would need to do that is if, say, you were going to frame your work like in a square frame or in a larger hoop than what you're stitching in. I'm just going to keep this embroidery in this hoop as a frame. So there's absolutely no reason for me to take it out unless I needed to wash it or something. So let's say though you were doing this embroidery on a t-shirt, then you would definitely want to take out the shirt from the hoop so that you don't end up with that crease, the hoop crease. Okay, last stitch here. It's kind of big. That's okay. So the only thing that looks a little different to me, like I think this side's neater, is my tacking stitches tend to get kind of pulled on, so they look bigger, but I'm okay with it. I'm just going to show you that split stitch. So I do like a back split stitch because I'm better, my aim is better. I just go down in the middle of the stitch like this. It's basically, it's the same thing as chain stitch if you think about it. If I were to do chain stitch with 3-ply instead of a full 6, it would look just like this. So here I'm basically making the chain ready to go. I do one more or 2 more? I guess I'll just do one. So once you've completed all of the chain stitch, you can go ahead and work on the center. So for this one, I did satin stitch in the sections, both sections, and then for, there it is. For this one, I did French knot. So I'm actually going to do kind of a mix between the two. I think just it's important to make sure you have this, which we've already done, completed first. That circle kind of corrals the rest of the work we're gonna do. So for this center part, I'm using a full strand. I'm just gonna show you some satin stitch here. I'm gonna do 2 layers to make it nice and puffy. So here's my first layer. I might only fit 3 stitches in, actually. Yeah, that's it. 1, 2, 3. And then over that, I am going to go in the opposite direction. So instead of horizontal, I'm doing vertical. 1. 2. 3. Trying to pull back these little fuzzies I pulled through. They are not coming. Okay. If you want, you can go further than that. I think I'm just going to stop and keep it kind of dainty. Yeah. Well, I kind of want to put another stitch there. You can see this is very scientific. Oops, it looks like I kind of pierced my initial row. That's alright. We're making this up as we go. I'm going to come back and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kind of flatten those fluffy things I pulled through with this stitch. Okay, I got some floss back on my needle. Try this again. Without getting snagged on my clamp. Much better. So yeah, if I hope that the chain stitch worked out for you. If it didn't, no worries. The original version of the pattern did not include the alternating. I just did a single color, and that's awesome too. Doing 2 wraps because that's just what I felt like doing. So you could always fill with a different stitch. If you want to do more chain stitch, you could fill with chain stitch. You could fill with split stitch, back stitch, more satin stitch. We could leave it open, right? You don't have to fill it. That one looked small. Maybe I only wrapped once. So just keep going, and next time we're actually going to finish up the stitching. We're going to do those pink flowers and the dark green leaves that are attached to them. It's all going to be satin stitch, so be ready. I'm doing laundry. The dryer's done. Like I said, I'm a professional. Oh man, my fingers hurt. Anyone else? Oh, thank goodness.